let me say a couple of things. Number one, Rosemary Gibson came on the show back in January. Rosemary Gibson was the author of China RX and saying how the big pharmaceutical companies basically shipped all the API, which is called active pharmaceutical ingredients, over to be made in China under the in CCP-owned companies. And right now, one of the big questions, as you just said, 80% of the PPE and 80% of the drugs, the generic drugs and the API, are all made within this area that could potentially be flooded. And to date, we have not forced those supply chains back. There's another issue that people are going to have to understand. It's more than just about cost. The United States, by the way, China needs its own manufacturing of generics and needs its own manufacturing API, just like the United States needs theirs, India needs theirs, Europe needs theirs. This is something that countries and something this central have to do. The other thing I want to mention before I turn back to my colleague Miles to talk about the CCP's participation in this and what they're doing is, Jack, you brought up in February, I think March, talked about the heroic nature of the Chinese farmers. Remember, during the height of the pandemic in January, February, March in Wuhan and Hubei province, and we were so limited in the information that was getting out of where the pandemic was, one of the biggest concerns was that they weren't going to be able to get into the fields and plant the spring crop. Well, once again, the heroic nature of Lao Beijing, old 100 names, came through, and what they did was get into the fields and plant the spring crop. Now, unfortunately, when that crop's got to be harvested in late summer, right now you've got this massive, 1,000-year flood that's coming on that's going to threaten their entire supply chain. But Lao Beijing is being asked back by the CCP to now come back, where the PLA is not down there, to come back and actually man the levees, as you mentioned the other day, Jack. So I want to turn to my colleague, Miles Guo. Miles, here's what people can't understand. If the Chinese Communist Party built this whole system of dams and levees, right, kind of against nature, but to basically have man's hand and kind of taking the Yangtze, which is the ancient, it's one of the 5 or 6 most important rivers in the world, right? It's like the Mississippi or the Nile or the Danube. It's a major river that affects an entire country. What is the PLA? What is the CCP first? What is Beijing doing in this crisis? We've heard, and we announced the other day, they called a red alert. People in the United States don't know what red alerts are. They don't know how often they're called. So how important is it's a red alert, and what is Beijing doing to help the Chinese citizens down in the Yangtze River?
Sir, good question, sir. I'm in China. I'm from China. I have more than 40 years in China. In my life, many times I go to same time have big fraud. I go there. I donate money. I try help them. In my life, I go there anytime. I never see one time have a PLA army, local government, and the central government. They seriously think can help the people, get risk. They never. You know why, brother? I want you to know this is the joke. One time I was before the China Prime Minister Wen Jiabao. He was the 1998. Go to Yangtze River, say same fault. Go there.
He went there during a flood.
Went there.
Yeah.
So he was I'm at the help you or rescue you. We all the army here. We have 1 million special army here. We even we die. We want to rescue you. There, I'm here. Behind how many people? 300 army, all the bodyguard. They have the 3 camera.
They were all the bodyguards.
All the bodyguard.
Reason he had his bodyguards.
Yes, they use the boat 3 times record. The camera. He say no good. You need a change. They want food. Look at Wen Jiabao nearly cry. All the body get the dirt, and the army in the river. Swimming, rescue the people, the women, the child. They make the show. Immediately gone. Go back.
You're saying this is a photo op, just
that's
a photo op.
Okay, the declaration, political declaration. Okay, that's all the fake. So after this, I asked him, why you don't send more army here? Help the poor people?
1 minute, gentlemen.
Student, nobody can stop the fault. We only waiting what has happened. Nobody can stop. We never prepare the army can help stop this.
There's nothing
flood.
can stop a flood. Okay, we're gonna take a short commercial break. Miles has got more insights about the CCP and this horrific flood on the Yangtze River. We're gonna turn, and also America now turns to take down the CCP, what it's also like internally to China with their efforts to combat that. We're gonna return, Jack, back to you. See you in a minute.
Guys, we're going to take a commercial break here, but this is fascinating stuff. We have to understand what's going on with the Yangtze River because it's going to affect the world just like the COVID virus.